Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to choosing a childcare management software to meet your program's needs. We're just going to give it until about 6:35 as attendees start to roll in. So take a minute and grab a snack or note and pen, and we'll get started in a couple minutes.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Thank you. Hold on, let me get rid of this background. Better.
Perfect.
Okay,
Maria's
so
joining us today to give our Spanish interpretation. So just give us 1 second as we get that hooked up.
thank you so much, Lisa. Hello. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks for bearing with me, Maria. We're still new to setting up interpretation, but I think it's all set now. So you should be good. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Good evening to those folks who are just hopping on. Good to see you all. I see some folks from CCR&Rs. Great to talk with you all again, as we've talked a few times today. And hello to the providers on the call. We're gonna get started in just a few minutes as we get some more folks rolling in the waiting room. We do have Spanish interpretation available tonight with Maria. So if you are interested in receiving that Spanish interpretation, just go on the bottom of your screen and you should see a little interpretation icon. You can click that and then click Spanish, and you will be able to hear our training tonight in Spanish. Just giving it a few more minutes. If you need any technical support during the training, myself and Jessica are here to support you. Just put in the chat or the Q&A and we'll help you out. Seems like we have a small but mighty group tonight, so thank you all for joining. Just give it one more minute. The ultimate countdown for you, Andrea. Yes, and thank you, Barbara. If you want to just go ahead in the chat and introduce yourself if you'd like, to say what organization or what kind of provider you are. We'd love to hear from you all. You all are unmuted and we can't see you. Your video is not on, but we have the chat and the Q&A for you to communicate with us and our trainer, Andrea, tonight. So please utilize that. All right, it seems like it's slowed down on the other side. So welcome everyone to our childcare management training tonight with Andrea Rybrook from the Early Care and Learning Council. Myself, Alyssa Ballard, and Jessica Kloshapiro is also here with you tonight to help you out with any technical assistance, any other needs you might have. I'm sorry if you hear my cat. She just busted through the door. Always fun when we do these trainings from home these days. But just a few housekeeping things. We do have Spanish translation available. If you need that, you can go on the bottom icon to interpretation and click Spanish. If you need any support with that, just send me a message and we can help you with that. This is being recorded, so we'll send you all the recording of this so you can have it for your records, and we'll also have it on our YouTube channel. And for those who are attending live, you'll be able to get that Aspire credit, the OCFS training credits. I'm going to pop in the chat a Microsoft form for you all to fill out. It's just going to have you enter your name and your Aspire ID. This will help us track the attendance. And sometime within the next couple of days or early next week, you'll receive any resources that we discussed, the training recording, and your certificate of attendance for this. And for those who just joined, we're just saying hello in the chat with your organization or type of provider you are. We welcome you all. And I think that's it for housekeeping. So I will kindly pass it over to Andrea to get us started.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. Hi, everyone. I wish I could see your faces because it's great to see folks, even if we're not in person. But since I can't, I can see your names, and I really appreciate how many of you put stuff into the chat about your program. And I'm also happy to see some familiar names in here. My name's Andrea Ryberg. I am the Director of Child Care Supply at the Early Care and Learning Council. And tonight I'm going to be doing a training with you for the next hour about childcare management systems. So I want to talk a little bit about myself and my background, and then we'll talk a little bit about the training and what I hope you're going to get out of tonight. So I see people's introductions rolling in, and I'm going to read through those too after I talk a little bit about my background. So again, my name is Andrea Ryberg. I live in Saratoga Springs, and I work in Albany for the Early Care and Learning Council. I've been working in early childhood education for the last 10 years. Before that, I was working in another education nonprofit, but focused more on K-12. And I started my career as a teacher, teaching second grade in Las Vegas, Nevada. So when I had my own children, I was really interested in early childhood education, even though I have been working in elementary ed for a long time. And I was really thinking, gosh, I'm not sure what's out there. And I started looking into it. It was really difficult to find a great childcare program. And I know as childcare professionals, you all are very aware of that. I wasn't at the time, as a new parent, I thought, oh gosh, there'll be lots of places for me to pick. And there wasn't. And so I joined a group in Battle Creek, Michigan, where I was living, that was helping to organize a childcare program. And that kind of idea didn't really jump off the ground very quickly. So for a few years, I kind of had my daughter in different childcare situations. But after 2.5 years, the group received a very large estate gift. It was $300,000. And I always tell this story because I really like to share just kind of what a blessing this was. It was an amazing opportunity to start something new. And we had felt like, okay, this is really it. This is where the rubber's going to meet the road. And I had been interested in being involved, but at that time I thought, okay, my daughter's a little bit older, I can get this started. Little did I know how difficult it was to start a childcare program or run one effectively. But I learned over the next 6 years. So with that grant money, we were able to open a full service preschool and childcare in Battle Creek, Michigan called Garden of Dreams Community Preschool and Childcare. And right from the beginning of opening that program, I used childcare management software. The school opened in 2014 with 36 children. And then by the end of the first year, by 2015, we had 65 children. By the end of the second year, we had 120, including our school-age children. So the program grew really quickly. I was able to expand it. And I think that the childcare management software was a huge part of that success. And so tonight, I want to talk a little bit with you about what options are out there and how you could think about what the need is that you have at your business for this type of software. So I'm very excited to speak with you about it tonight. And I just wanted to share what my background with it is. 3 years ago, I left Michigan to come back to New York. And I found this position at the Early Care and Learning Council looking to expand childcare access across the state. And it really fit what my interests were at my preschool in Michigan. And I had also helped start a shared service alliance in Michigan with my program and several others. So I have experience using 3 different types of childcare management software at my program itself. And then I also have experience of demoing software here in my role at the Early Care and Learning Council. And so I have a pretty good idea of what's out there. And then I've also put together for you a tool that we can use to think through strategically what it is that your program might be looking for, because there's a lot of choices out there and you want to make sure that what you're purchasing is going to be meeting the needs that you have. So that's my backstory and how I came to think about this session for you all. But I also want to make sure that the session is really meeting your needs. And I've taken a look at the different introductions in the chat. If you want to look through that too, it's pretty cool to see where people are coming from. We have folks from all different programs. Barbara is here from the Adirondack Community Action Program, but she's an after-school program coordinator. Judy is here. She has a family daycare in Perry, New York. Welcome, Judy. Pam Wells is here. She is the president of the CSEA. Welcome, Pam. Kaidi Altu from a CCR&R called Family of Woodstock, which is in the Hudson Valley. We have Grace Albrecht here from Glens Falls. She's a director at a new center. Welcome, Grace. That's exciting. Steve Wagner here, who runs an after-school and preschool program in Corning. I see a note from Cynthia, who's a director of a Westminster early childhood program. Welcome, Cynthia. And Steve's program is called Itsy Bitsy Inspirations Daycare Center. Lynn Sickles, who's the executive director of the Adirondack, not the Adirondack, Southern Adirondack Child Care Resource or Referral Agency. Welcome. And then Jay Sell is here from the Child Care Council of Westchester. So it's great to see everybody. Oh, as well, Jacinia from the Child Care Council of Westchester. Thank you for being here, folks. Appreciate you giving me your time. Now I'm going to ask you to write again into the chat a little bit about why did you decide to attend today's session? That's going to help me to think about how I tailor what I discuss with you tonight. So if you could take a minute and think, like, when you read about this session, choosing childcare management software, what was it that you were hoping to learn? If you could put that into the chat for me, again, be really helpful. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. This is where I need the background songs, Alyssa.
I know I should have got some like inspiring music.
Yeah, next time I'm going to do that. This is my first webinar that I've done. So take it easy on me a little bit. I think it would be cool if we had the background sounds. Yeah, what do you
thought for next time?
Yes. Why did you sign up? What are you hoping to get out of today's session? Don't be too shy. Okay, great. I'm starting to see some answers come in. Thank you.
Andrea, would it be helpful for me to read them, or do you want to read through them?
I can read them, Alyssa. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have it popping right up in front of me.
Awesome.
May not be the case for this entire training, but right now I can see them. Like I said, my first webinar, I've used Zoom a lot, but not in this format. So, all right, I'm going to start to read a few off. Grace says that she's currently not using any childcare management software, using paper M10, which can be very consuming and tedious. Yes, you are right, Grace. We're trying to figure out the best and most cost-effective system for us. Well, this, I hope, is going to really help you, and I'd be happy to work with you one-on-one after this too, Grace, if you're interested. Because yeah, when I first opened my program, I think 2 weeks, I didn't have childcare management software. And the 3rd week I had already purchased it because I was like, this paper and pen work is going to take so much of our time. Jacinia says she wants to learn about a new resource to share with our providers in their businesses. Great, Jacinia. Kaidi says information to share with the providers I work with. Excellent. Lynn says, I want to learn more about the options. As we recruit new programs, we'd like to work with them to get onto a childcare management software program. Excellent, Lynn. Catherine says, to learn a better way to share what I learned. Great, Catherine. Steve says, we've got a patchwork of homegrown solutions and some gaps. I'm interested in tailored software that would lessen the workload. Excellent, Steve. Patty says, learn more about childcare management systems. Georgie says, to learn more how to automate tasks and hopefully make the said tasks faster and easier. Information for providers in our counties. Excellent. Cynthia says, I wanted to become familiar with different software programs. Absolutely. Barbara says, information to bring back and share with providers at the agency I work with. Excellent. Judy says, I'm not really sure. Open to learning anything to help me with new resources to get an easier array. I only use pen and paper, which is very time consuming. Exactly, Judy. It is time consuming. And I'm hoping that there's an option out there that might save you some time. And then JCL says, I'm new to the position at the CCRNR. I'd like to learn more. I can share with my providers. Excellent. Okay, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I think that what we're going to talk about is really going to meet a lot of your needs. And again, I'm happy to work with you all one-on-one too, if anyone wanted to talk more after this. So I'm going to share a very short presentation that I created for tonight. It's just 2 slides, and then we're going to get to look at it's really just a checklist for you, not a very sophisticated tool, but a checklist that I developed for you to take a look at and think through what your program needs, okay? So I'm going to walk through these 2 slides that are given some background information about childcare management software. And then we'll take a look at the tool, and you're going to think a little bit about how this tool and what the things are that you need right now. And if you don't need that right now because you work for another agency, you'll be able to share that tool with your providers. After that, we're going to take a look at some of the top childcare management software. We're going to look at some videos of how it works so you can get an example. And then we're going to take questions and answers. So that's how tonight's training will go. First slide here. What is childcare management software? So Opportunities Exchange, I'll come back to them. According to Opportunities Exchange, childcare management software is specifically designed to help childcare providers automate their day-to-day operations so that the staff have more time to spend with children and are able to monitor and manage their program proactively. I think that sentence and definition from Opportunities Exchange really clearly states how important it is to get this software in order to save time. Good childcare management software is certainly going to save you time after you get used to using it. And we'll talk a little bit about that piece of it. There is a little bit of a learning curve, just like any kind of new technology. But it's certainly designed to save time. A good childcare management software will also help providers to generate more revenue. So it doesn't save money, but it should help you to generate more. And we'll look at how some of the example ones I'm going to show you do that. So here, there's a list of what childcare management software generally does. Before I go through that list, I want to tell you that there are over 100 childcare management softwares that are on the market right now. So if you were to pull up Google and do a search for childcare management software, and I will put a link to this in this document that's going to be sent out to you. But if you do that Google search, probably one of the first things that's going to come up is a compilation list from a company called Capterra. They do lots of compilation lists that come up in searches. So if you take a look at that, you can see a massive kind of grid of choices. And it can be really, really overwhelming to look at all the different choices that are out there. On top of that, a lot of the software companies have slogans that say things like, we're the best company, or #1 rated, or best user experience. So those are sales pitches, and it makes it really hard to distinguish what would be good and what wouldn't. And although tonight's training isn't going to talk to you about exactly which software to use, because I do think they are different from each other. They have different price points, and it really needs to be based on what your program needs. I do think that there are some that are better than others. And one of the key things that you can look for, and when we get to the tool, we'll take a look more at this, is how long the company's been around. Because Some of the companies are newer and just getting started with what they do. And that is not typically the best software to choose, because you want to pick something that's working right now when you pick it. So that's a little bit of feedback. Some of the companies have been around for 25 years, and some of them have just been around for 1 or 2. And the more experienced companies typically have the kinks of their software worked out in a better way. So let's take a look at this list here. How does childcare management software help childcare providers automate their day-to-day operations so that they can save time and spend more time with children and families? It does this by, number one, helping to streamline and manage a wait list. That's a function that many childcare softwares have. Many childcare management softwares also have a function that tracks daily attendance. Many also have a way to generate invoices and for families to make payments. That's the one right below that, collect payments automatically and electronically. So the generating invoices and collecting payments, that can be a huge time saver depending on the number of children that are in your program. Managing and monitoring classroom ratios. If you have a program that has multiple classrooms and multiple staff members working at the same time, the software often allows you to see which staff member is in the classroom with whom, how many children are there, so that you can make decisions about appropriate staffing in real time. The software also can help to manage staff member records, any of the professional development credits. It can manage HR paperwork and have it in one location. And it can also typically help to manage staff member payroll and like clocking in and clocking out. So then the last part, the last bullet point here is that it can help you communicate with families more effectively. And that's absolutely true too. So in a few of the demos that we're going to look at, you'll see how it can help you to communicate more effectively with families. So these are some of the basic things that childcare management software does. Many of the good programs do all of these things. There is a link in this document to an FAQ, and that FAQ is going to, again, list these things out and also have kind of a cheat sheet for you to remember what are some of the top things that childcare management software does. And that cheat sheet will also help those of you that work with childcare providers at the CCR&Rs or other agencies. Okay, so when you get this slideshow, it'll have that FAQ link. Let's go on to the next slide. This slide I made in order to really highlight for you what are the major takeaways of what this can do for your organization. Okay, the number one thing is saving time. If you use the management software after a month or so, and you use it effectively, like you're trying to use all the components of it, it is really going to reduce the amount of staff time that you spend on the functions that you use. And that's something that I experienced firsthand in my program. And then when I changed software several times, I noticed that different softwares that took different amounts of time and worked differently, but they all saved me time over doing it by hand. Another thing that childcare management software can do for you is really help to increase your revenue. I mentioned this when I was talking about the previous slide. The reason that the software can do that for you is because it makes it very easy for you to see all of your family and child bills in one location. And it makes it easy for you to have parents make payments electronically. And some of the softwares also have a function that allows you to require they make payments electronically. As a provider, that's your choice, whether you decide to do that or not. I didn't do that in my program, but it still allowed me to have a much better picture of who was behind on their bills and help them to get caught up, or to say, this at this time, since you're not making your payments on a regular basis, I'm not going to be able to continue to provide service. And that's a really hard conversation to have, but it's also more difficult when you don't have that information right in front of you and the parent doesn't have it right in front of them. And this software does that. The third thing that I think is a big reason to purchase this software is that it really can help to manage staff members, where they're checking in and out, which classrooms they're going to, and keeping track of their hours will help reduce the amount of time you spend on payroll substantially. The last major benefit is the improvement in family communications. So I use software at my program that the first software that I purchased in Michigan. This was the number one thing that it did, improve family communications. And then eventually purchased software that helped me with my cash flow and operating, saving some of my time. But the initial thing that I purchased after that third week was this software called Tadpoles. And Tadpoles really is just for family communication. We used it for 5 years, okay? And then I eventually had to stop using it because we were switching to software that had all these other functions too, plus the family communication. And the cool thing about Tadpoles is that you could send home photos of what the children were doing in the classroom. You could text message really easily with parents that way. I had 25 to 30 staff at any time in my program. And so the staff members were able to do those things too. So when I decided to switch to the other software because it was going to be a much better deal for us, I was sad to lose the other program. But my own mother sent me an email like, how can you do this to me? I love getting the photos of my babies through Tadpoles because I put her into the system so she would get the daily reports and photos of my children. And that way it saved me time from having to text message her what they're up to. She got photos from their teachers. But that's how much this software can help you, is the grandparents may even be happy and upset if you try to stop it. So just a goofy story to kind of highlight what it can do. But it really was something that I was sad to part with because I felt like this helped build the relationships we have with families so much. So now we're going to take a look at this checklist. And I want you to feel like this is something that you can use for your program or that you could advise providers to use. So I just want to share what it is really quickly. So I mentioned that there are over 100 different companies that offer some type of childcare management software, right? So tonight we're going to look at 3 of them. But before we look at them, I want to give you a chance to think about what is it that you would like to get out of it. And this is a list of the different things that the childcare management software does. So when you're thinking about your program right now, looking at these different items that are on here, I want you to just kind of write some notes in a notebook, take a pencil and paper that you have in front of you and think through, okay, what are of these items that are typically in childcare management software, what matters to me the most right now? What's the thing that's taking up the most of my time? Or the thing that I feel like is not working very effectively for my program. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. Take a look at the list. Pull out 1 or 2 things that you feel like this is the most important thing to me. And you can put them in the chat if you want to, but you don't need to. This is just for your own thought process. What are the things that I feel like I am spending the most time on right now that I really want to get fixed and automated so that I could spend less time on it? Again, the music would be good here. Oh, something came up in the chat. Okay. So Grace has written, we have something from Heidi and something from Grace. Heidi has written in the parent portal and daily reports. Excellent, Heidi. Good software will absolutely have both of those things and save so much time, especially on daily reports, and also provide a much more streamlined check-in process for many programs. So I think that there's a lot of software out there that would be good for that. Grace says billing and invoicing and check-in and check-out. Same thing as Heidi put in terms of the parent portal, check-in and check-out, Grace. But billing also a huge area that you could automate, and good software will help with that. If anyone else wants to type in kind of what's important to them right now, that would be great. And I'll read them off. Cynthia, billing and invoicing, as well as employee management. Absolutely, Cynthia. This software can definitely do those things. And I want you to keep those things in mind after the session when you're starting to check out the different software. Okay. Great. So again, after today's session, we'll be sending this slideshow out, and it has this checklist in there. You'll want to use that when you start to do demonstrations of childcare management software. Okay. So right now, what we've done is we talked about what are the different, what is the purpose of the software? We talked a little bit about the fact that it's a very crowded market right now. It's hard to make a choice. And so then we talked about what are the things that the software can do for you and what are the benefits of it. Now you've been thinking about, okay, what are the biggest things I want to focus on and change? I'm going to stop sharing this, and we're going to take a look at a few different products. Catherine also typed in billing and parent communication. Very important to her. Excellent, Catherine. Yep. It's really important to keep those things in mind because you want to choose a software that's going to best serve your business and your needs right now. Using this software is not mandatory. It does cost money. I think that much of it is worth the cost in terms of the time that you'll save and the ability to generate more revenue potentially. But it is something that costs money, and it's not going to fix your problems unless you identify what you want to work on. So it's awesome that you all are coming up with those different things that you want to focus on. So in the next part of our presentation, I would like to have a demonstration for you all of several childcare management tools. I'm going to show short video clips from 3 different products. The products are Brightwheel, Procare, and KidCare. And there's a specific reason that I've chosen these 3 products to share with you all. Number one, they all have strong longevity in the market. Procare and KidCare have both been operating as childcare business support software for more than 20 years. And that means a lot because they've been able to support programs in getting automated and becoming more efficient business operators so they can spend more time with the kids. And they've also both been really adaptive to change. Brightwheel is a newer software. It started in, I think, 2015. But they have made significant, and so maybe it started in 2014, around the same time I was opening my program in Michigan. But the time that I was looking for software, they didn't have very many functions at all. It was really just communication with parents. And I knew I wanted more than that. So anyway, but now there's a full service software service. I have done extensive demos with all 3 of these companies and others, a few others too, that I'm not going to show tonight, in the last 2 months as part of my role at the Early Care and Learning Council. And I had these personalized demos done. So I feel comfortable saying to you, I think these products are strong. They fulfill all of the requirements that we just took a look at. And I don't want to endorse any of them in particular, because again, I think it has to be based on what you need. But I also didn't want to show you something that I personally haven't used or done a demonstration with. So I've used Procare at my own program, and then I had this demonstration for a pilot that I'm doing in my job at the Early Care and Learning Council. And then Brightwheel is another program that, again, really stood out to me in terms of how many different services they have. And KidCare is a product that many programs in New York State already use to do billing for the food program. It's also very inexpensive and has been around for 25 years. So I think they do kind of similar things, but in a different way and at different price points. And I felt like they were all pretty solid choices. So I wanted to show these videos. There's a lot more out there. And again, it has, you're going to want to look for what your most important things are. But let's start with these, okay? So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the video, and I have to get it to the right spot. This is the part where definitely my experience is not going to be the best. Okay, I got the video open for you all. Here we go. And I got to share my screen now. So give me 1 sec.
All good, Andrea. I'll just make a quick housekeeping if anyone happened to join a few minutes past
Perfect.
6:30. I'm going to type in the chat a Microsoft form. If you wouldn't mind filling that out with your name, email, and your Aspire ID. If you're interested in receiving Aspire training credits, that information, the certificate will be sent out to you via email from myself within the next couple days or early next week. But if you don't need Aspire credit, you'll still receive the recording and the resources via email from me. And if anyone has any other questions, you can type it in the chat or use the Q&A. And we also have Spanish interpretation available. If you need help with accessing that, just shoot me a message.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. Okay, I'm going to show about 2 minutes of demo of Brightwheel. And this is just an overview of what the product includes. Now we just need the video to play.
Show sort of the breadth of the tool, but acknowledge that sometimes it isn't useful for them to use every single feature. And often it's like, let's chunk this out so it's really manageable as we're getting them up and going. Any questions about this piece before I dive into the product further?
I'm good so far. Thank you.
Keep
Great.
going. You're on a roll. This is good stuff.
So we'll start with student management. And so this is, how do we keep organized, basically? How do we keep all of those files organized? How do I make sure my immunizations are up to date so that I don't get any, licensing marks, for example? This is the home screen, which I basically just took a screenshot here. When they log in, they're able to see today's date. They can see, because it's just a home-based provider, it'll just be the name of their program. It's cloud-based, so they can see everything in real time. So let's say they signed in the front. You can see automatically that a student has checked in, or a staff member if you have staff. You can also see a big picture view of how many activities have been logged today and the upcoming birthdays for your students. So this is sort of your just home screen when you log in. I always like to point this out as well. There's a really easy feature for you to add students. So again, we're trying to your just home screen when you log in.
Okay, I wanted to stop it there. That gave you a very brief look at the product, right? But I have a link to that video, so you can watch the whole thing if you want to. It's an hour long. But what you saw there was really a very basic overview of what Brightwheel does and what the home screen looks like. What I liked when I've demoed this product, and I looked at 5 total, like I said, over the last 2 or 3 months, was how easy it was to use and how kind of user-friendly it looked. So you saw that there was this one navigation page, the list of students was there, and it was really easy to see everything that was going on at the program. And let me just show you, I think I can do this. Let me turn this part off. So I'm going to just show you, take a look at the side of the panel here. There's a list of the students, your parent information, information about staff, the classrooms, the schedules for your staff and children. And then there's all the other functions that this software has too. The messaging for parents, the wait list and admissions management, which no one in this group has said was their top priority, but is a function of the software. Family billing. So this made it really easy to do all these things. And it's all, like, if you go back and kind of look, it's just colorful, easy to use. And they have a lot of different support. That was another important thing that I liked about this product. So that's just a minute about Brightwheel. Again, you'll get a link to the full presentation if you want to. And our question and answer time is coming up in just a few minutes. So if you want to get those questions and answers written down, you can too. The next product I want to show you is Procare. So I mentioned that I personally use Procare in my program in Michigan. And then I also demoed it recently for this project that I'm working on at the Early Care and Learning Council. The software's been around for a very long time. They've made a lot of changes and improvements to it over time. And I think that it's a really easy to use software. So I think that you'll be excited to learn a little bit more about it. This clip is going to be about 3 minutes. So we're going to watch a little bit more about it. And I'm going to share my screen for that. And I'm going to start it and make it big.
Procare, we're going to take a look at how to set up your center in Procare. We'll start in the app with a look at how to take attendance and track activities. Then we'll head over to the website and look at billing, reports, and parent communication features. And finally, we'll get you started. The Procare app can run on iOS or Android. You can run it on as many devices as you need. For example, having one device in each classroom, one in the office, etc. There are two main parts to the app: the attendance tracking portion and the activity recording portion. We'll start in attendance. You will leave your device station set to the parent kiosk mode. Here, parents will enter their unique 4-digit PIN. For example, we'll enter 7740. That is my parent PIN for my test daughter, Maya. The parent will review their student and click Sign In. You can turn on the option to accept signatures on the screen. The kiosk then resets for the next parent walking in. Each parent is assigned a unique 4-digit PIN that takes the place of a signature. This is the same place your staff will clock in and out. Let's enter a staff PIN, 0110. That PIN is for my teacher profile. If I'm assigned a room, it will show here by default, or I can choose to work in a different room. Otherwise, click Clock In. Again, the kiosk resets for the next parent or teacher walking in. Your teachers can track activities throughout the day by clicking on Activity. Here, you can see a list of activities that you can record in Procare. Let's take a look at one of them. With the nap feature, I can choose my students I'm laying down for a nap and click Next. I can specify the start time, set up a nap reminder, and record the activity. Activities recorded in Procare Connect update live to the parent app, so parents always have a view into their child's day. Now, let's head over to the website and take a look at the admin features. This is the admin side of things in Procare. As an admin, you can go in and adjust student attendance if needed. For example,
Okay, we're going to stop it there. Oh, except for it's still going on my screen. Hold on. There we go. I think one of the things that I wanted to point out about Procare is that many of those functions that they were talking about, same functions in Brightwheel, and the app looks very similar. The main screen that we just saw a very brief flash of, that main screen also looks very similar to the main administrator screen in Brightwheel, right? Had kind of that same sidebar with the stuff listed out. These two products are both very strong and all encompassing. There are a few others out there that I think are very strong. And again, the short presentation I did earlier, it has this link to FAQs in it, and it also will have a link to like a search engine where that kind of shares some of the top software for you to take a look at. So when you're starting to look at software for your program and choose it, I want you to be looking at like kind of the top things. But again, I don't want to endorse anyone in particular because they're private companies. You're going to be paying them money, and I don't work for any of them. I want you to make the best choice for you. So that's Procare. Again, been around a long time. I loved using them, and I think they're a really strong choice. The last one I want to show you is KidCare. KidCare does not have as many bells and whistles as Procare and Brightwheel. In particular, parent communication, their function on that is very poor compared to the other two. However, there is one function that they have that I really like that I'm going to show you, and that's management of financial tracking for your business. And the other two don't do that very well. The other key feature about KidCare is it only costs $100 a year. So that's really inexpensive compared to the other two, and just, less than $10 a month. So it feels like an entry point that you could use that would be really simple. But it doesn't have the family communication. I don't think, from watching the demo that I did with it, I also don't think it's quite as user friendly for other staff. Like as an administrator, you could use it, but not necessarily that easy for other staff. So I'm going to pull that other video up, and give me 1 sec to get it to the right spot. And then I'm going to share it with you all. Here we go. Okay, so this is just going to show you a few minutes of it. And it's going to show you what the home screen of it looks like on a computer. And this is KidCare again. Are you going to play? It doesn't want to do its job today. Sorry, give me a sec. There we go.
Our KidCare accounting software. And the other option is, let's say that you are a home sponsoring organization and you purchase our sponsor software and you provide it to all of your sites. Those sites have the option to add on our KidCare accounting software, again, for that $99, and integrate it into that CACFP management software that you are providing to them. And so it is all very similar layouts, very streamlined, and it's designed that way on purpose. Today, what I'm going to be kind of showing you is split up into two sections. Our software can do a lot. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through some of the more accounting specific and expense management functions. And then I will kind of take a break, ask for some questions, and then answer those questions. And then after that, we'll go ahead and move on to what I like to call those extra stuff. We'll go through that, and then if y'all have any questions about some of those extra features, non-necessarily billing related, we'll kind of go through there as well. So to start, this is our KidCare accounting software. Our KidCare accounting software is a web-based software, meaning that home providers that are using it need access to an internet. They can use any device that is connected to the internet, just needs to have that internet connection. It's not something that they download. All they need is access to a browser. And so when they do log in, they can set up their homepage. I've set it up to where mine just goes straight to the account details. And I know that this is kind of a lot to take in, so I just wanted to take a second to kind of break the page down. So over here on the left-hand side, we have our navigation bar. This is how I can click and navigate around the site. If anything has a sub tab, you'll see this arrow right there. I can also just click the home page here. I have access to messages here, as well as settings for the account here. And so this is really going to be the navigation bar, how they're moving around the software. After they select the page that they want to be on, and we're underneath accounting and accounts, this is the page that pops up. At the top of most of our pages, you'll have the ability to filter out what you see. If you want to only view active children, active participants in that home provider, you can filter it out to be there, or you can look at pending or withdrawn children as well.
Okay, I'm going to stop that one there. And come back to you all. So KidCare, again, similar navigation bar on the left-hand side. What this one is very text-based. So if that kind of bothers you, which it could, you might think I need something a little bit more visual, that this one isn't really, it's really text-based. But again, I mentioned the price point is very low at just $100 a year. and it has a lot of financial management tools. I do think it's less user-friendly for the parents, and it does not have parent communication features the way that Brightwheel Procare do. It has some, but they don't compare. So that's just a very brief look at some of the things that are out there in the world. And I wanted to share them with you to kind of give you some ideas and get your thoughts going. You've all now had a chance to think about, okay, what are the top things that are taking up my time that I want to automate? So you can think about those three things, those three products we just looked at, and think, okay, which one of those do I think might work best for that? And then any other products that you're going to take a look at after this training, you could think about that too. What do I think is going to impact those top priority areas for my business? And then make your decision based off of that. So at this point, I wanted to get a chance to have you ask me questions. We've gone over a lot of information, and you've had a chance to kind of think a little bit about what your needs are. What can I answer for you? Go ahead and put into the chat since I can't hear you or see it. We're going to answer any questions that you have tonight. So no question is too small. Patty asks, do you have a price for Procare? I have a price that they quoted me at, Patty, but all of these companies, except for KidCare, and including the ones that I didn't show you tonight, they are typically willing to negotiate how much they're going to charge you. Sort of like when you kind of sign up for cable or internet, you know, they're going to give you that introductory deal, and then there might be a different price in 2 years. So Procare costs $49 a month is the price that they quoted me at for that. And it doesn't, that's for a home-based program. For a center, I was doing the demo for home-based, like looking just for home-based programs. But for center-based, I think it's $79 a month. But again, I bet they'd be willing to negotiate. And what they offer to different people, it would be like, if you're ready to start talking to one of these companies, they all have an easy feature to click on and make a decision from there. So like you click on it, talk to somebody, and they'll give you the price. But that gives you a little bit of an idea. So about $50 a month for a home-based provider, $80 for centers for Procare. Grace says, our program doesn't allow electronics outside the classroom, so we wouldn't be using the portions of daily reports. We could use it for sign in and out for parents, makes DSS billing easier. Staff sign in and out, billing and invoices, physicals, and immunizations tracking. Yeah, absolutely. I think that for you too, Grace, like at some point you might want to think about if electronics could be possible in the classroom, like ones that you controlled, because then you could do the daily reports and that would save your staff time. But all those other things that you talked about are things that all these products could do. I would say Procare and Brightwheel would do them better than KidCare because they both have a kiosk option to sign in and out at the front door. They track child information so you can keep track of who is doing physicals and immunizations. And then one other thing that I want to talk about with Brightwheel in particular is that they just got approval to have what's called a data bridge in New York State between the childcare subsidy system, which I think someone tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's Kinder Systems. So the website that you go to and Kinder Connect. Thank you, Grace. Yes. Okay. So Brightwheel in particular just launched this data bridge. So if you use Brightwheel and you have children who use subsidy payments for their care, their attendance is going to go into Brightwheel, and then you can do like an automatic upload to Kinder Connect. Okay, so that will save a huge amount of your time with your subsidy billing. Procare does not have that feature right now, although I'm guessing that's something that they're going to want to develop now that they know some of their competitors are developing it, right? But they don't right now. I have not seen the Kinder Connect demo. I'm seeing it on Thursday for this data bridge. I'm really excited because I think that was in Michigan. in the alliance that I was part of there, we got our subsidy billing. We got a data bridge built between our childcare management software and the subsidy system in Michigan. The billing for subsidy families at my center that again I mentioned had 120 children. It went from like hours to like 10 minutes. So that'll be great. Catherine, does Procare support us when problems arise? Absolutely. All these companies have really good customer service. Something that I want to recommend to you, Catherine, too, when you start to look into some of the different options is like, how do they take your sales call even? Is that a priority? Does it seem to be a priority to them when you reach out and you say, hey, I'd like to get a quick demo. This is some information about my program. I can tell you a lot about what their ongoing customer service is going to look like. But all of the companies that I've showed you, I think that they all have good customer support and usually a pretty easy way to kind of connect through a chat on the website when you're in your account. And they usually have phone numbers too. But definitely something you want to look for and just kind of get a feel for as you're talking to the salespeople even. What other questions do you all have about software and how you can start to kind of look into this more and find something that really meets your needs? Go ahead and type them into the chat or the Q&A function, which I don't know how that works. So it could be a fun experiment for both of us.
Andrea, just so you know, as people are maybe thinking of some questions, if you go to the more button, and maybe for some folks on the call too, if you can't see it, the bottom icon that says more with the 3 little dots, and then it should have Q&A.
I see
And then if you click that, you'll see.
Oh, cool. Then I
what
can
answer
click
didn't
on the answers. So yeah, if you put something in there, it will give me like a quiz for me to figure out how to answer.
Quiz time.
Oh, Lynn, good question. Why did the family daycare pilot project choose Brightwheel? So I talked about how I'm doing this pilot project. And Lynn, I don't know how you found out about that, but yeah, we did choose Brightwheel. The reason we chose Brightwheel was because was 2 things. Number one, it seemed like a more user-friendly product for home-based programs. We were trying to make a decision for family providers. To me and to the others, I didn't vote for what this pilot group chose. So we're working with a pilot of 80 providers across the state, and we were looked at all these demos, and Brightwheel's the one we chose. So the number one thing was thinking, okay, this is going to be better for family providers. It's going to be a little bit easier to use than Procare. And KidCare did not have all the functions that we wanted to see. Although I really, like I said, I like the price point and also thought that their financial management tool was really good. I've been chatting with Kathy Broder. Thank you. So the other, outside of that, we also felt that they had good customer service. We thought they all did, but that one was something that stuck out to us about Brightwheel. And they also were willing to negotiate on the price with us. So they gave us a price of, I think it's less, I think it's about $35 a month for each provider. So that's because we had 80 providers and we were going to pay it all at once. That makes a difference to them. So if you're going in on your own, it looks a little bit different, but that came into play too. I hope that answers your question. Those are the main reasons we chose it. I think any of them could have been good, but I'm happy with what the other childcare resource and referral agencies decided on with Brightwheel, and so far things have been really user-friendly in our experience with them. Thanks for asking that. What other questions do you have? Don't be too shy.
I know some of them aren't shy, Andrea.
I know.
Maybe you just did such a great job explaining everything. Lynn's gonna reach out to you separately.
Oh, good. Yeah, that would be great, Lynn. Yeah, that would be great. I would appreciate that. And I look forward to talking to you about it. I really hope some of you that are providers are going to try some out and do some demos for yourself, because I really, in my experience as a provider, this type of software helped me so much. And I felt like, oh my gosh, a lot of my time here is saved. And that's what you need, because there's so many things to do. It's really hard to do it all. And this can be a tool that you use to help accomplish some of the things that you want to in your program. It's like empowering tool for you. Anyone else? Jalissa, sure. She asked, can I send a summary of the different software programs following the meeting? Yes. So after the meeting, Melissa is going to send out follow-up, and I'll include a link to a website where you can see kind of all the programs ranked. And I think it's a pretty good ranking list. And then I'll also send you links to the videos that I just shared. And the ones that are KidCare Brightwheel are pretty long. So you can watch like a full demo. You wouldn't even need to ask them for a demo probably after you watch those. And Procare has a lot of videos on YouTube too. So you can watch theirs on there or request a demo. So yeah, absolutely. Those things will come to you. You're welcome. Anyone else have things that they want to bounce off of me or others in the group? Questions about decisions they're trying to make? We'll wait like one more minute, Alyssa, and then.
In the meantime, I'm gonna pop both of our emails in the chat, Andrea, if anyone has
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
further
That'd be great.
questions.
Yep, and don't forget to fill out the survey where you got to put your name and email address and Aspire number so we can make sure you get some training credit. Kaidi says, even though KidCare can track CACFP menus and attendance, you still have to enter that information onto the state software minute menu. Yes, Kaidi, although I do think KidCare is also working on a data bridge too. That's what they told us when I was doing demos with them. That would be a huge time saver. Right now, Brightwheel and Procare don't have a data bridge to the CACFP website at the New York level, but I think both of them are working on it too. It saves a lot of time for providers. So thanks for bringing that up. All right. Yeah, it would be so helpful. Exactly. Very helpful. You know, I'm grateful that you took time to come tonight, and I'm hopeful that it was at least a little bit useful for you. And I'm looking forward to helping you if you want further help looking at the different options. And Alyssa will be sending out the materials to you all so that you can look at things and use that checklist that I shared. I think that's an important tool for you. Again, you want to be thinking about this from the perspective of your business. What do you need the most? And using your needs to choose something that works for you. There's a lot of choices out there, and again, happy to help if you want someone to kind of talk through your choices with. But it will definitely help you if you get it up and running. It's definitely going to save you time. I know from experience and from a lot of other people who it has helped. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks, everyone, and thank you, Andrea. Just want to give a quick tidbit. Our next series is going to be in July and August, and we're going to be offering a 4-part insurance training. It's going to be a really great series.
Yes. Those
registrations will come out within the next week. That should be really exciting. And this fall, we're also, Andrea and I and Jess are working on getting some awesome speakers on a sustainability series around marketing, human resources, budgeting, staff recruitment and retention, and as well as some trainings around self-care and mental health. So we've got some we've got some great trainings in the work, so you'll hear from your CCR&Rs with that information. And CCR&Rs, you'll hear from us soon with those registration dates. So Andrea, thank you so much again for your training
You're
tonight.
welcome.
Thank you, Maria, for being our translator, and
Yes,
hope
thanks,
you all have
Maria.
a great rest of your night.
Bye
Take
for
care.
now, everyone. We'll send you the follow-up soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.